242 stand by.
341 Bravo out of service.
242 Fulton Bravo.
Fortune 901, dispatcher, how can I help you?
Next call about a shoplifting.
At Walmart.
Yes.
Located in the shoe department. Black male in a gray hoodie and black scarf. He's moving towards the front near the general merchandise exit.
Leaving out the store now, about to follow in my car.
Which way is he going?
We just heading towards, like, the Wendy's and shit.
Okay. Do you see the officer?
Yeah, I'm looking for him. Oh, I see him.
Take your hand out of your pocket. Chase me, because I don't do anything to hurt you. Take your hand out of your pocket. Chase me, because I ain't doing anything to hurt you. Take your hand out of your pocket. No, you're not going to chase me because you're not going to hurt me for nothing.
5-1 shots fired. Suspect down.
Attention on units. Clear there for 151, shots fired, one down.
Down you go. Yeah.
151. He's unresponsive. Have medics standing by for as soon as we can get him in here.
This is the guy, right? All right, you wait by your car for me, all right? Don't leave though.
I got you.
I need you. Witness.
I got you.
This is second one. Don't leave.
I got you.
It's not as easy as it looks in the movies. You don't just shoot somebody and, oh, okay, now let's go back to work, or, you know, there's nobody out there that it doesn't weigh heavily on.
151, I'm not getting a full start CPR. Start setting up a crime scene as soon as you can so we get medics in here.
You're doing a really good job.
There's so many people out there that are trying to kill you for absolutely no reason, you know? I can't tell you how many times I've been assaulted on the job. It's part of the job.
State police are investigating a deadly altercation between a Portsmouth officer and a suspect.
The gunfire rattled customers and morning commuters outside Walmart just 30 minutes after the store opened. Investigators say an officer shot and killed the 18-year-old suspect.
It was an 18-year-old male. He was allegedly shoplifted from this Walmart.
And the guy came at him, and the cop took him. We heard two shots, and the cop took and shot him. And the guy fell. I mean, he went down quick.
Deadly force has gained national attention ever since a teenager was shot dead in Ferguson, Missouri. Deadly force used once again here.
I did exactly what I was trained to do. I followed the department policy step by step. I followed our training step by step. I've followed the law. Normally, you get 3 weeks of administrative leave where they investigate if you did anything wrong. And then you come back to work after that 3 weeks, and they give you a medal for valorous act if that's appropriate, which it usually is. 3 weeks and a medal.
We begin with breaking news in Portsmouth, where a police officer has been indicted for first-degree murder.
Today, the Office of the Commonwealth's Attorney, by way of direct indictment, presented the case against Stephen Rankin for the shooting death of William Chapman. Stephen Rankin, the defendant, is now charged with first-degree murder and use of a firearm with the commission of a felony. Once the defendant...
Nobody understood why she did that. First-degree murder in Virginia involves premeditation. The indisputable facts of the case, the things that she can't get around, are that I was called to this location and that I had never met this guy before. So she would have somehow had to say that while driving my car, I premeditated a murder of this individual, and it's just, it doesn't make any sense. Despite whatever the facts of the case are, we've almost always knee-jerk reaction to, oh, the police officer shot somebody, he must be wrong. I believe it's not just me that's on trial. I believe it's all American police officers that are on trial right now. And it's my butt that's in the hot seat.
I called them and I said I heard about it was a shootout at Walmart and somebody was dead at Walmart. And they said it was a male. First they said it was a juvenile, then they said it was 18 or whatever. And I was like, well, my son is not home and he goes to Walmart. And she asked me what his name was and I told him. And she said his name is what? And I said it again. And she was like, ma'am, please hold. They came to my yard, and I told them don't come no closer, just let me know. And they still didn't pay me no mind. You know, they walked up to me. I guess he had to be up close and personal when he told me. And he was like, yes, ma'am, I'm sorry that was your son. William that passed that Walmart like it's 7:30 something in the morning. And I just hollered.
Say, hey, Gabby. Gabby, hey. Hey, girl.
I didn't want to hear it. I didn't want it to be true. I didn't even tell my daughter that what they said after I had called 911. I didn't even tell her. But when she heard me holler, she already knew. And she ain't been the same since.
Since he shot my brother, I never came outside. I feel like I'm taking a risk, like my brother took a risk from going to Walmart, and I don't want nothing to happen to me. It just, I just feel scared. Some people are talking about that's what he get, that's what he deserved. He was a thug. And my brother wasn't no thug. He wasn't like that. He didn't gang bang or nothing. He wasn't into gangs. He just like doing karate and skateboarding. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how people be like, you black but you act white. That's just how he is.
I was asleep all that day. And then when I woke up, it was just like your cousin got shot or something. So I ain't know, cause around that time was a lot of stuff going on. Like a couple of my cousins got shot, but I ain't expected to be him. Like that just, it hurt me though. Like to see him got shot, it really hurt. He got hit in the face.
It's just weird, you know, when they talk about how William lunged that officer or stuff like that. He would have never did that, because then he would have ran.
Yeah, he would have.
You know, because William wasn't no fighter.
He was a quiet child. That's what I don't understand.
He liked to read. He had a lot of books. Like when I was young, he used to take me to the library. I like, man, what you going here for? Like, I'm not no book person, so I ain't like that. Nah, he liked to read books and stuff. I don't really like the police. Like they're supposed to protect you, but they kill you. If I see that officer, I'm running. Won't catch me.
Roll on your stomach. Now. I'm sorry. Oh, God. Shot me. I didn't do shit. He shot me, man.
Freddie Gray broke his neck after Baltimore police arrested him. This is back on April 12th.
chase me because I ain't doing time to hold you. Take your hand out of your pocket. Well, you're not gonna chase me because you're not gonna arrest me for nothing.
Gunfire and blood on the streets as protesters continue for a second night surrounding the anniversary of Michael Brown.
They getting away with it. They getting away with it. They can do it again and again and again.
This is massive protests erupt in major cities all across the country, including Baltimore, New York City, and Washington, D.C.
The fact is, in too many parts of this country, a deep distrust exists between law enforcement and communities of color.
We did watch it on YouTube. And I was telling Wim, I said, it's very different out there. And he was like, Mom, I'm not worried about it. He said, 'Cause that'll never be me. It's crazy. Like, I can't even keep my eyes open. I gotta get some sleep. I just can't.
And you're gonna need to be rested because it's gonna be a tiring and taxing process for you because you're gonna have to, sit there and hear everything as it comes in. It's gonna be difficult.
I wanna sit there and listen to all the lies he about to say. Wish I could stand up and say, I disagree. You're lying. But I can't.
I can't tell you what's gonna happen. The good thing is we're all from Portsmouth. I know you have great faith in the people of this city, just like I do, that they're going to get on their jury and do the job that they're supposed to do.
We just want the truth, and just to give some life back to our family, back to our community, just back to America, period, that justice can be served, That's all we asking for. And we can't get justice in 2016, God knows, I don't know. We're gonna rise up again as a family. And we're gonna let the world know enough is enough. Enough is enough.
It's really stressful. There's a lot at stake, especially it being a first-degree murder charge. The max term for that is life in prison. And Virginia doesn't have a parole program, so it would be life in prison. It's scary.
It's so infuriating to know that people who don't even know him would go to such lengths to make him seem like such a terrible human being.
You don't need to be nervous, it's okay.
The climate in this country right now is extremely volatile. The year run up to the indictment itself, there had been protests and just constant news coverage and people making t-shirts and people making posters saying that he should be charged. So no, we weren't surprised. He'd been tried and convicted in the media long before the indictment ever came. It's a dangerous time to be a police officer.
Is that a cop dead? Dude, that's a cop down. Dude, that's a cop down. Yeah, he shot 7 times. It's a dude? No, it's a sniper from up here somewhere. It's a sniper? You hear the shot? Get down. Get down. Get down. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Shit. There's a fucking sniper. He shot 4 cops.
block us.
You refusing us service? Let it be known that Walmart is refusing us service. Quiet! Quiet! Please.
You're more than welcome to come in and shop. And we do not allow cameras in the building. That's Walmart policy. So if you're here to shop, you're more than welcome to do that.
I think they're coming out the other side.
In this very spot, William Chapman was murdered 1 year ago. Unarmed. A young man who could have been your son, your brother, your cousin, was murdered by an officer. And we want to turn this over to William Chapman's mother so she can let you know just what's on her heart tonight and going forward.
Hello. Thank all of y'all. Thank you. And I can't believe that this chalk is still here. That's a sign. Because even though he's not here in person, he's still here in spirit. He want us to keep speaking for him because he's not here to speak for himself. God knows he's not here. He's supposed to be here. This is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It should have never happened. That was my baby. It was that fucking store. And he wanted to go home. You step off that street right there, he would have been home. But he never made it. That man knew my baby wanted to go home. And guess what? I'm still a little afraid, but I'm not alone no more. I'm not alone no more. Mine's going right here.
There you go. Freedom is a God-given right. And it's not up to me, and it's not up to you, and it's not up to Stephen Rankin whether you make it back home. So we're keeping the light on for justice. This week is a very big week. Wednesday starts the trial for Officer Rankin. We want justice, and we are tired of hearing no conviction.
Justice for William Chapman.
William Chapman.
William Chapman.
William Chapman.
William Chapman.
William Chapman.
My baby. My son that never came home. Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not alone. Yeah, like I'm not alone no more. Yeah.
Deciding on evidence in a former police officer's murder trial, lawyers for former officer Stephen Rankin want to introduce 18-year-old William Chapman's school records into evidence.
Defense attorneys for the former Portsmouth cop charged with murder plan to highlight the troubled history of the teen he killed.
Mr. Chapman had a felony record as a juvenile. He had an assaultive behavior record. So all those things are relevant to determine who's the aggressor, who's the one with the violent and turbulent background. A court found him guilty, or in the juvenile system it's called not innocent, of 4 violent offenses.
Hello. How's everybody today?
How are you?
Is it happy hour time yet?
Yeah,
Almost. Close enough?
The law allows, as we indicated during the hearing, for the defense to introduce evidence of an alleged victim's violent, aggressive, or turbulent nature.
And then the hope then is that from these records you may be able to subpoena witnesses. Can you explain that?
Potentially, yes.
Of course, it's difficult because the family's going to say that William Chapman is the victim and he shouldn't be put on trial, so he shouldn't have his, dirt exposed in an open court. What would you say about that?
We have an obligation to zealously represent our client and present a defense.
William Chapman is not on trial. That's what I really think about that, okay? What he did as a young man do not reflect somebody shoot him in the head with a gun. He was unarmed. He was young, he grew up, and he didn't get an opportunity to become a man because Rankin shot him. If we're gonna go with background check, Let's check out his police record.
Force 911, and I can help you.
Someone downstairs knocking on the door. He knocked so hard he's gonna break the glass.
He's banging on the window trying to get in.
He banging on the door. The door is glass.
Who's all in the house with you?
My neighbor Natalia.
He was just banging in the door, but like he didn't do nothing bad. I mean, he was super drunk. I was like in my head, I knew who it was, but I didn't know for sure. So I knocked on my neighbor's door. I told her we need to call cops because she didn't want to go downstairs and I didn't want to go downstairs. I think like it's something what I did was wrong because we shouldn't call police.
He's out there still on,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, he's still there.
It's already dropped and I hang up.
Come on in, Natalia.
What was that noise?
Get your baby.
Hello?
Hello?
What was that noise?
There was gunfire.
Shots been fired!
Rankin said he charged him. I'm telling you, he couldn't take 3 steps without falling down. That's how drunk he was. This is where I seen him last. I left him right here. I tripped over these steps a lot of times. But I think he was banging right here, just knocking, you know, trying to get in and yelling to Natalia that opened the door. And when the cop came out of nowhere, he just, you know, hey, freeze, gave his command. I think Kirill actually tripped over here because when I saw his body, it was over here.
Officer Rankin's story was that Kirill had his hands in his pants.
Yeah, they always gonna say that, you know what I'm saying? They're gonna always say that he has his hand in his pants. They say it to everybody, you know, like the officer who shot the guy in Boston. They lied. This is where they were. Each and every last one of the shells that hit Kirill. You can count the bullet, how many times they shot him. Here's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. It seemed like he was just going like this. You know? I think when you shot him the first time, he was still alive. I think when you got the first round at him, he was still alive. Now you're in trouble. So he finished up the job. It's an assassination. He killed him. You fucked up, Rankin. You fucked up. You're a fucking asshole. You killed my friend. That's it.
When I read his statement, it specifically said hand in the waistband. A chill went up my spine. And I realized this was not a standard line of duty shooting. I realized that this is what he'd been waiting for. I met Stephen Rankin when I was 17 years old. He was 22, about to be 23. I had been dating him for 6 weeks when he proposed. Judging by the couch, this must have been at my mom's house before we were married. He used to like taking pictures of all of his guns.
Every time we were in the presence of any other police officer or any person who carried a gun, he would pose the question, don't you think you'd be justified in shooting somebody if they put their hand in their waistband? It was almost like an icebreaker for him. After the first shooting, not only was he told it was okay, but in his world he was empowered by it. It made him a hero. It made him a badass. Why give that up? Why stop? I believe that if William Chapman taunted him or baited him, it was because he never thought for a second that somebody in a police uniform would actually want to end his life. William Chapman had the wrong cop.
There are some people that come into law enforcement that are not suited for the job. And I think that Stephen Rankin was one of those people. He had a tendency to generate a lot of citizen complaints. He had more than his share of use of force incidents. And a lot of those use of force reports that he filled out seemed questionable. He was one of these guys that could cause a riot at a church social. He could just go to any event and it would just escalate out of control some way. I made a recommendation that Officer Rankin be terminated. I thought he'd be fired. It was several months before Officer Rankin was involved in his first shooting incident. Didn't surprise me. I think you could have put 100 other officers in that same situation and you would not have had that same outcome. It's highly unusual for an officer to shoot and kill 2 unarmed people. I've not heard of that before.
Show me your hands. Show me your hands. Get on your knees. Please don't shoot.
It wasn't me, sir. I didn't do it, officer. I didn't do it.
The first man killed, he was a grown man, but that was that lady's baby. She didn't get justice for her son, but if Rankin get convicted, that's her justice right there. I feel like that's both ours. He took our babies.
Oh, God. I know she can't understand because she don't speak that good English. I'm here for you. We can get through this together.
И мы, его друзья, можно сказать, меня весь город провожал. Очень обидно, что мы не добились справедливости тогда. Если бы его осудили за убийство Кирилла, ваш сын был бы жив.
He won't get away with it no more. Faith in God. Faith in God.
Он мне часто снится. Говорит, почему? Я надеюсь, что скоро я смогу приехать на его могилу и сказать, что сынок, спи спокойно, твой убийца наказан.
Hey, boss. Hey,
Stay with me. We got pulled over for a busted tail light in the back, and the officer just shot him in his arm. We're waiting for a back. I will, sir. No worries. I will.
Fuck! Told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God! Please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Please don't tell me this, Lord. Please, Jesus, don't tell me that he's gone.
The high-profile murder trial of former Portsmouth police officer Stephen Rankin starts in just about an hour and a half.
Months in the making, trial gets underway for a former police officer accused of killing a teen shoplifting suspect.
It's a trial with plenty of security and plenty of people with something to say outside the courtroom.
No more violence. Take the guns out of our community. And when you get the guns to the police, make sure his mental is good to go.
Yep, there's a rally gathering.
They'll be leaving out in a couple more minutes. There's a lot of people.
There's some people standing.
I'm glad people there to support us, because at first it wasn't nobody.
I'm gonna share it on Facebook again.
Because at the very beginning, we were slaves over here, okay? We was in the cotton fields, but we come in peace. We want peace.
Right now, you're not communicating.
Well, I'm not communicating. First of all, let me tell you something. For years, when William Chapman died, since April the 23rd. Why was he shot?
Yeah.
Why was he shot? He was unarmed. Why was he shot? You tell me why he was shot. What you think? He was resisting arrest.
I've seen a lot of police officers just want to take black folks' lives. We're not going to take this. We hear you. That's all you want to hear.
Back in order.
You want to hear both sides.
No, we don't want to hear ignorance. Right.
And people talk about slaves. We white people came from Europe, indigent servants. We were as much handicapped as any other race there is. Okay? Think that's funny? Look up your history, young man.
I know my history.
Okay.
I know my history.
Okay.
The trial comes amid rising tensions between police and the community over recent high-profile officer-involved shootings across the country.
I'm real anxious about this because he's claiming self-defense, and I just want to know. I'm ready to hear how it all went down. I want to know what he has to say or whatever. And I wish I could stand up and say I object, because I know it's gonna be a whole bunch of trickery, foolishness.
Come on, baby. Something. Come on.
Rankin was escorted through a secure door. We were not able to talk to him. Heavily guarded. Not only that, his vehicle was escorted by a law enforcement escort, sheriff's deputies and police, obviously concerned about his safety during this trial.
These people are exercising the First Amendment rights. We're going to help them do it. And as long as they don't interfere with the process, we're tickled enough to have them.
None of us could have foreseen the circumstances that developed beginning in the summertime. Baton Rouge and Minneapolis and then Dallas, all of which we felt and we were concerned about in terms of how it would affect jurors, how it would affect the safety of the participants to the case.
For security reasons, the court is not identifying any of the jury members. They are using numbers to protect their privacy.
This is serious business, and I was scared. It's scary. You don't know. I mean, you just don't know what people are going to do. You didn't know if they were going to show our faces, if they were going to tell our names.
I don't want to give anybody any way to find me. There's too much racial division in this country already that I don't want any haters showing up at my door.
This is the group of people that will decide Stephen Rankin's fate.
God, I just ask you to keep us, to guide us, to make sure that we are all right. That we know without you, Lord, will not be possible. And we're going to put this together in such a way that they're going to know they got to give us justice. Amen.
Amen.
Let's go.
Hi. Hi.
5 лет прошло, как не утихает боль. Я только хочу сказать, что я очень хочу, чтобы его признали виновным. И это важно не только для меня. Меня отправили друзья. У Кирилла очень много друзей в Караганде осталось. Все сказали, пусть справедливость восторжествует.
Deputy, inquire why they wearing their hats. No hats in the courtroom.
Every time I see him, like my stomach drop. And I'm just looking at him. He never would turn his head. You know, he has no emotion. And I'm just like, who are you?
All right, Bella, bring the jury up, please.
When things like this happen, everything that you do is ripped apart. And your life becomes a spectator sport. There's a lot of people there that don't like you very much, that think you're terrible people. Obviously, you must be terrible people if you're sitting on that side. We had some pretty credible threats on our lives. After the shooting itself first happened, the police department put us in a hotel for a week out of town. People were talking on Twitter about how, I know where they live right behind me, we're gonna go to their house, blah, blah, blah. So they chose to create this detail just to make sure that we stayed safe.
Commonwealth of Virginia versus Stephen Rankin. Is the Commonwealth ready?
Commonwealth's ready.
Is the defense ready?
Yes, Your Honor.
This matter involved a first-degree murder. This defendant, Stephen Rankin, shot and killed 18-year-old William Chapman. He did this with premeditation, and he did this intentionally.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence will show you that this was his last resort. The evidence will prove to you that this was his last line of defense. The evidence will demonstrate to you that Stephen Rankin had no choice but to discharge his service role, to stop an assailant who was charging him to disarm him from his own weapon.
Rankin's attorney said the teen escalated the situation by refusing Rankin's commands. The defense said Chapman became violent, knocking Rankin's taser away and leaving Rankin no choice but to shoot.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I approach the witness?
You may.
Tell the jury about how the taser works in conjunction with a taser camera.
Okay, the taser was very significant because it's the only objective, unbiased witness. The tape doesn't lie. What's said on the tape doesn't lie.
Rankin's taser had a 15-second missing gap in its video, and it's in that missing portion when the police shooting took place.
15 seconds in between. That's what my concern is. And when the taser supposed to came back on, he was lying down dead. So my thing is this right here. The family will want to ask, what happened in 15 seconds? And that right there would tell the truth. That would tell us the truth.
That was incredibly frustrating. And on top of that, the prosecutor was accusing us of deleting it. If that footage was there, this would have been so much easier. But I guess the expert said that the taser malfunctioned because it hit the ground so hard. It was incredibly frustrating. That 15 seconds would have been crucial.
Mr. Chapman knocked the taser out of the officer's hands, flew 20 to 30 feet in the air on a grass median strip. And he hit that taser so hard, it stopped working. And at that time, the evidence will prove to you that Mr. Chapman turned from a shoplifter to an assailant, to a threat. Because he disarmed and assaulted this officer.
Witness, I got you. Second one, don't leave. I got you.
Just a few minutes ago, we got to see the immediate aftermath for ourselves of that shooting from Rankin's taser video. Let's go to this video. You will see a man standing there near the curb. That is the worker at Walmart. He was the one that reported Chapman as a shoplifting suspect. The prosecution called its star witness to the stand, Walmart's loss prevention officer.
Good morning, sir. Please state your name for the court.
Gregory Provo.
Mr. Provo, how are you employed?
I do security for Walmart located on 1098 Burgess Boulevard.
Tell the court what you observed outside of the Walmart on that morning.
Walking up to Rankin. Rankin at that point pulled his gun out. He was giving commands to get on the ground. At this point, me and Rankin was basically right beside me. The guy made a quick gesture to fight. After that, that's when the 2 shots came out for Rankin.
Are you certain about whether he charged or lunged at the officer?
Yes, I am sure he did not charge.
And he did not lunge?
No.
And you could see his hands?
Correct.
No gun in his hands?
No, I didn't see nothing.
No knife in his hand?
Correct.
Thank you, sir. I don't have anything further.
The Commonwealth argued Rankin couldn't have felt threatened because Chapman didn't move forward, and at no time did he see Chapman lunge or charge at Officer Rankin.
Have a nice weekend. You too. Thank you.
You okay?
Yo, the officer's right here. My brother's right here. That's how far they was, so how is that a threat? That's what I don't understand.
And they were just in front of each other, and he was further away from William. And they were just exchanging words, and he just opened fire and shot him. You killed him on purpose. You took his whole life away from him.
He did not have no type of weapon on him at all, so it doesn't justify anything. The officer had no reason to kill him. Yeah. At all.
Спокойные сидят оба. Я думаю, скоро это спокойствие должно закончиться.
Rankin ain't shit. I don't even want to talk about his ass no more. I'm about to get justice for my son. I'm about to walk over here and get to my family. Thank y'all.
There is a time where we've got to move from just loving mercy to doing justice.
Praise God. Praise God.
We do want justice for William Chapman. You can go and fight for this country, the land of the free and the home of the brave, and not sure if your child is going to make it home from a Walmart.
Exactly. Thank you, Lord Jesus.
we stretch our hands towards this family, God. As the case is heard and as pictures are painted with tainted facts, God, and we pray now for the strength of this mother who has to relive this situation, Lord. The strength of this sister, Lord, as they deal with the verdict that shall come forth, Lord. We pray even now for court officials, oh God, for that they will administer your justice, oh God.
Lord, I thank you for our sister, Lord God. Lord God, continue to have people hedging her up. Have your angels, Lord God, who are charged over her, oh God. Gird her up like never before.
She said the jury would hear Rankin's state of mind. She said the jurors would hear what Chapman said.
And so that's where we are right now, and we do expect the defense to call several more witnesses. The question is, do they contradict the statements we heard from the Commonwealth's key witness, Gregory Provo?
Obviously, perfect world, we would have had a taser video or a body cam showing everything that happened. But for Officer Rankin's sake, I am glad that there were a number of eyewitnesses there.
Paul Akey.
The eyewitnesses are completely unbiased, and they were interviewed immediately after the shooting and were able to recount what they observed.
It looked like at one time he had a handcuff on him, like his left hand was behind him, and the cop had him, and then all of a sudden the guy went nuts and started wailing on the cop.
Paul Akey said he had a clear view from the construction site attached to the Walmart parking lot.
And the guy came at him, and the cop took him. We heard 2 shots, and the cop took and shot him. And the guy fell. I mean, he went down quick.
What was your job at that time?
I was a crane operator. I'm up here in the cab.
Did you see how the man knocked the taser out of the officer's hands?
Yes, it was sort of an aggressive move.
What did you see happen then?
The man tore his shirt off. I mean, he was throwing fists like he was. I mean, it was street fighting, basically. He was hitting on the police officer.
All right. And what happened then?
Then I heard 2 gunshots, bam, bam, and the gentleman went down.
Guys from the construction crew testified that Rankin was being wailed on or punched or hit. You know, they had to be telling the truth because they saw that they were in a struggle and there was a confrontation.
Their stories were, I think not credible. They demonstrated a charge that seemed very unrealistic, and put their hands up and showed like, this is what he did, and then they started doing like this, and I was like, nobody fights like that. Like, that seems like an exaggeration, to say the least.
I thought that the most significant and telling point was when you talked about Chapman like taking off his jacket and getting ready to attack Rankin. Only can be construed as an aggressive action. His hands were in a fighting position, jabbing, lunging. I mean, everybody agrees that Mr. Chapman basically started the fight.
Said my son had on a white shirt and he took it off and he charged at the officer. My son had it on here on a tie-dye shirt and a hoodie over that. And you all the way over there on the building that you building on, but you see all this stuff. I mean, it was so many lies. And that witness that lied like that. Come on now. You don't lie about stuff like that. You don't do that.
One witness said his first statement was incomplete because he was, quote, in shock.
A medical examiner and a ballistics expert. Along with it, testimony difficult for family members of Chapman to see or hear.
Chapman's bloody sweatshirt on display for the court. But on cross, defense attorney James Broccoletti.
Yeah. Them bullets that he put into my child ruptured everything in his body. And he only could have survived like a couple seconds. Wham was dead before he even hit the ground. He shot him to kill him. And he shot him twice to make sure that he was dead. And he's sitting there like self-defense. He was reaching for something. He was coming my way. I shot him like I did the first one. But they ain't really have nothing. So I'm just gonna keep on killing. So I can say this is my third one or this is my fourth one. I can't talk no more. I can't.
It is a critical day in the murder trial of Stephen Rankin. Later this morning, the former Portsmouth officer is expected to fight back against charges that he intentionally killed an unarmed teenager.
Rankin is taking the stand in his own defense. His defense team hopes its star witness convinces jurors to acquit him of first-degree murder.
Rico, an incredible move by the defense.
Yeah, Don and Katie trying to bolster their argument for self-defense. Rankin's lawyers want jurors to hear testimony from the man himself.
What are you wanting to hear from Rankin today?
First of all, I know he's gonna stand up there and I know he's gonna lie. I know he's gonna do that. He shows no emotion. I want him to say something like, I shouldn't have took it that far. I should have called for backup. I want him to say that I took it too far. I want him to say that he took it too far.
How does it feel having, Yankin here with you, side by side?
This woman here, she didn't get her justice for her son. My case concerning my son, we still connected. We're connected, so if I get justice, then we get justice together.
What are your thoughts about what you've heard and about what happened to your son?
Прошло 5 лет. Но все было как будто вчера. Ранкин убил не только нашего сына, он поломал жизнь нашей семьи.
Rankin, he not only killed your son, but he broke your whole family.
У нас вся жизнь разделилась на жизнь до того, после того. То есть до убийства и после убийства.
I was speaking to people in Portsmouth, and one woman said she feels like there's going to be a war in Portsmouth.
There's already a war going on. Y'all don't see it? There's already a war going on. People killing every day, people dying every day. There's already a war going on. Somebody has to put a stop to it. If they don't put a stop to it, it's going to keep going on. Thank you. Thanks, Andy. Boy.
Good morning, everyone. All right, bring the jury in, please. All right, counsel, you may proceed.
Mr. Rankin.
Solemnly swear or affirm testimony you give in this case to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I didn't find out that I was gonna go to the stand until about a week before the trial. Everybody assumed that I just knew. And so it kind of got dropped on me. I said, wait, what? I have to testify? Because I had assumed this is all in good hands. I've got an amazing legal team and, you know, I'm out of play. And then, wait a minute, so my life really is hanging in my hands now.
We were trained and it's beat into our head for our entire careers. Hands are what hurt you, hands are what kill you. And when he's in his pocket and he's telling me he's not going to cooperate and his hand is stiff in his pocket, I think he's reaching for something. I told him, take your hand out of your pocket. I don't know how many times, a lot.
Did he take his hand out of his pocket?
No, he didn't.
And did you deploy your taser?
I did.
This is the taser that I was carrying on the day of the incident. We got it operated by a flip of the phone.
What was the effect?
Immediately, he became enraged and he became very aggressive. He was no longer just resisting. He was, at that point, this instantly changed into a fight. A very high-level fight.
How did the taser get knocked out of your hand?
He turned and made an aggressive movement, and I could feel the taser just go flying out of my hand with great force.
What effect did knocking the taser out of your hand have?
I've been disarmed. I'm trying to use this device against him, and he's disarmed me of it.
Were you concerned about your weapon and about him taking possession of it?
Yes, he had already gotten my taser away from me. And I had no reason to think that he was going to stop trying to disarm me. I had no reason to think he was going to stop attacking me. Most people don't understand what it takes to control someone who wants to fight, what it takes to take charge of a situation with people you've never met before and people that want to be violent. And it's not pretty. And it's not things that people want to see or want to accept that that's how they happen. This is very dangerous. This is as dangerous as things get out there.
Did you shoot to kill him?
No.
Did you intend to kill him?
Absolutely not.
What did you intend?
I wanted to stop him from attacking me because he was very aggressively coming at me. He was attacking me, and I felt I needed to save my life.
Thank you. Nothing further, sir.
All right, counsel, you may proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. May I inquire?
You may.
Morning, Mr. Rankin.
Good morning, ma'am.
You stated on direct examination that you did not murder Mr. Chapman.
That's correct, ma'am.
And you do recognize that that is the charge of this jury to determine and not you, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
So you know that you killed him, correct?
Unfortunate.
You shot him in the
Ma'am,
face
I'd
and
really
heart.
like to answer your question.
Yes or no question?
It was unfortunate that I had to discharge my weapon and Mr. Chapman did die.
So that's a yes, that you killed him. You
Yes.
shot him in the face and heart.
I did shoot him, yes, ma'am.
And it's this jury's job to determine whether you murdered him or not.
Yes, ma'am. I've been beat up by defense attorneys on a regular basis. Defense attorneys that have been doing it a lot longer than she has. And one of the things that I kept telling myself whenever I would get nervous before I took the stand was I've been doing this. I've been a police officer since she was in high school. I can deal with this. She really tried, but the evidence is what it is, and I got to tell my story.
What is this? Point to this orange button. What is that?
It's an orange button.
What is it? What does it do?
It sends an emergency signal
To who?
to the dispatcher.
Says an emergency signal to the dispatcher.
Yes, ma'am. The function of that button, when you push it, it's called a code 1 button. It sends an emergency signal such as, ma'am, I'm trying to, I'm not done. They'll call.
At this point, our object is non-responsive.
She asked him what the button was.
Oh.
You did not hit the orange button on your radio, correct?
That's correct. It wouldn't have.
You did not
Ma'am, I'm really trying to answer your question.
Yes or no question?
It's not a yes or no question, ma'am. I'm trying to answer it.
I felt he wanted to answer what he wanted to answer, regardless of whether it was responsive to my question or not. And there's that defiance there. And you are so aggravated because of me asking you questions. What does that possibly say about what your temperament could have been on the date of this incident with this young man who obviously has no power? I don't know if that was something that the jury may have picked up on. You just saw his body come in. You just saw his body. Excuse me?
I was paying attention to the fact that he was charging at me and he was yelling, "Shoot me, motherfucker, shoot me."
One of the jurors he lost his cool at that point. What do you think he would have done in the situation at the parking lot? It was other jurors who were, oh yeah, okay, as if they had hit an epiphany of some sort, like, oh yeah, that makes sense, I didn't think about it like that. So other jurors were, yeah, this person is questionable, to say the least.
And while he's doing that, I'm telling him, get on the ground, get on the ground.
You indicated that in your training, the hands are the deadliest thing.
Yes, ma'am.
But yet when he's coming towards you, you did not look and were not focused on his hands.
This is a physiological reaction that happens when the body gets an adrenaline dump. It's called tunnel vision.
Objection. He's not a scientist. He's not a doctor.
Oh, go ahead.
It's called tunnel vision. You experience it in life-threatening situations when you have that kind of adrenaline dump and you focus on very specific things. And that's what I was focused on. This isn't something that I chose to look at his hand.
So at this point, because he didn't get down on the ground and he was coming in your direction, that's why you decided to shoot him.
I decided I had to shoot him. And I did everything that I could to not have to shoot him, but I decided I had to shoot him after he had overpowered me, after he had gotten away from me, after he had gotten my taser away from me, after he had turned to attack me, after he started charging at me and yelling, "Shoot me, motherfucker, shoot me." And then he charges at me, and I had no other choice. I had to discharge my weapon. And then I went immediately to try and make this guy okay. I didn't want him to die. I didn't even want to hurt him.
That's not correct, though, that you didn't have other options. Thank you.
Yes, sir. You may step down. All right, members of the jury, there is no more evidence to come before you with respect to this case. It is now time for you to first retire to the jury room for your deliberations.
Well, the jury is made up of 12 men and women. 8 of them are black, 4 of them are white, and they all must agree in order for their verdict to stand. If they're not able to...
I didn't look at it as a racial thing at all, but some people definitely did. There was one juror in there, for lack of a better word, was constantly giving me the stink eye. Like, I don't know if she was trying to intimidate me to make the decision that they wanted to hear, but you can give me the dirty looks all you want. I'm there to make the right decision and try and do the right thing based on what was presented in the courtroom.
There's racial influences in what you decide in the case, like for each of the jurors. I think that they each probably used that, and they would start putting in like examples of why they thought it was appropriate because of their upbringing, or examples of what they've seen or things that they've lived through in their life. You know, this could be my little brother or my little cousin or somebody that I know.
It all comes down to who made what decisions in that Walmart parking lot in the 1 minute of time that transpired. Broccoletti said Rankin had no choice. Morales says he chose to kill.
I think Mr. Rankin did a great job on the witness stand. It was very compelling and compassionate and human. I think it turned out as well as it can now, out of our hands.
If they're confident, good for them. We just focused on doing our job, and I feel like we did.
And when do you expect a decision?
If there is a decision, which is another issue. If there's a decision, they normally come back by lunch or by dinner. It's funny, they normally come back at 12, 12:30 or 4:30.
I know that for this family, it would bring some peace. Everybody in the community seems to be paying attention and seems as though they need some type of closure.
Your hands behind your back! Fucking shoot at us.
I would never be quiet. This is my son. You know, pain is love. I'm telling you. This is for my baby. All thing I can do is hope and pray and have patience. And now I'm doing a lot of praying. I think, you know what, I think that he will. I think he will get convicted because my son didn't do anything. My son is kind of like an example. Through my son, I think that some change will come.
It's gonna come.
So I feel real powerful and positive that tomorrow justice will come.
Justice will come.
Yeah.
Если они вот сейчас судят только его за убийство этого Чепмана, его оправдают. Это была, скажем, самозащита. Его оправдают. Убивают невиновных людей. И, насколько я знаю, пока еще ни одного полицейского не осудили.
The judge will tell them that they must reach a unanimous verdict, so he'll send them back again to try and reach an agreement. If they can't do that, then we are possibly looking at a mistrial. Live in Portsmouth, Eric Kane, 13 News Network.
It was an emotional ball of everything back there. I mean, we had, people crying. We had people who were getting mad, frustrated, people who were just emotionally drained from the whole trial. Everybody was hitting the limits. One gentleman stood up and he was just like, this is it. How is 12 people aren't going to agree? Let's just all agree to disagree and let's go home. Hung jury, let's go.
I said I was here to do and make the right decision. I'm not rushing to any judgment, so it's going to have to take as long as it takes.
I just kept saying it over and over again. William ain't even say that.
But still, that don't give no right to shoot him.
Yeah, because if it was me, like I said.
You can see William Chapman's family just waiting patiently outside the courthouse, talking amongst each other, just sitting on benches, just waiting. Now, we're also seeing Stephen Rankin and his wife being escorted throughout the courthouse by several security guards and officers for protection reasons.
I'm just worried.
Why you worried?
Because there's just so much they keep pulling out.
Don't even worry like that. God got this baby. For real. You know that he said the truth that set you free, the truth gonna send him to jail.
All right, get this on me. We'll come back later on. All right, we'll get off. I need
We reviewed everything, and that's when, after all the discussions of everybody's notes, we took another vote, and it was unanimous.
All right, bring in the jury, please.
I didn't even want to go back in the courtroom. My heart was racing so bad, I thought I was going to pass out. I didn't want to face Chapman's family. I didn't want to face Rankin's family. You're making a decision that affects two families, and I didn't take that lightly at all.
The jury came out, and I could see a lot of them were looking at the ground. They wouldn't look at me. They were wringing the sweat out of their hands.
It's my understanding you have a verdict?
Yes, sir.
All right, give the papers to me. Yeah.
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty of first-degree murder or second-degree murder. Guilty of voluntary manslaughter. Signed, juror number 32, dated August 4th, 2016.
I really have no idea how they got to a guilty on this.
What did I do?
Rankin found not guilty of first or second degree murder, but guilty of manslaughter. Okay.
Voluntary manslaughter, the charge is more in the heat of passion, in the heat of a struggle, that this killing happened, and that is clearly what the jury decided.
And powerful, there's so much strength in you and me. Powerful, a breath away from victory. I matter, you matter, we matter. Powerful.
Oh, I felt like my stomach was in my shoes. At first I thought, I didn't hear that right. They had to have missed something, you know? The jurors, they had to have missed something. That's all I kept thinking. They had to have missed something. You know, you put your uniform on and you answer your first call. You never expect that doing your job is going to send you to prison. Ever.
I tried to take it like a professional and hold my head high, but it hurt a lot. I'm really making an effort to try and make those guys proud and show that we're the good guys.
Chapman's mother cried after the verdict was read. Later, she didn't want to comment, but a family spokesperson told me justice was served. Meantime, Rankin's attorneys say the jury wasn't provided the full story. They say this isn't over.
What are three big things that you will bring up on an appeal that you think will make the difference in this case? Just really quickly.
He did not have the opportunity to present his Mr. Chapman's prior criminal record to the jury to determine his aggressiveness, his turbulence, his violence. Secondly,
he's got several felony convictions, including weapons violations, assaulting care workers at his group home. And all of these things should come in to show what we're dealing with here, to show that the story that I'm telling, that he attacked me, makes sense based on what he's done in the past.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
We should have been told about Chapman's history, that he was definitely not a good guy by any stretch of the word. I learned that he was brought up in group homes, that he got in trouble for some bomb threats. That tells me he was already an aggressive, mean person. He should have taken his hand out of his pocket when Rankin asked him to take his hand out of his pocket, and he should have done everything he was asked and told to do, and he would still be here today. He wrote the ending to his own life story. Not Rankin, he wrote the ending.
The judge did the right thing by keeping both of their backgrounds out of the court case. I think that was smart on his part, because he gave us an equal playing field as far as, like, don't convolute it with all this extra stuff. Just limit it to what's important to give these jurors enough to make a decision with what's there.
My goodness, I had no idea.
I'm gonna clip this. Where do you think?
Can I clip this to your collar?
Yeah, but then I'm gonna have to comb my hair
you
again,
guys
okay?
have it on the table? Is that too much?
It wouldn't. Lipstick? Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah. Hey, you come over here and get my comb out.
Now it looks
I'm just
like
gonna put this right here.
a heart monitor. It's gonna have like 1,000 things going on here.
For this community to lose this young man and to have a police officer charged for the loss of his life and now convicted, it means a lot to this community to see that justice was served. Надо попытаться застегнуть. Не знаю, мы очень рады, что так все закончилось. Ну, мне кажется, что мое присутствие помогло как-то. Хоть нельзя было говорить, что это я, что я мама Кирилла Денякина. Нельзя было говорить, что до этого он убил моего сына. Ну, все равно мне казалось, ну как, все знали. Сколько полицейских убивает простых людей и их всех оправдывают. Но все-таки его осудили. Я считаю, что это хорошо. Мне это как бы какое-то душевное спокойствие принесло. Я рада, что я здесь была в этот момент. Домой. Ох, слава богу.
Don't shoot him. Don't shoot him. He didn't do anything. He doesn't have a gun. He has a TBI. He's not going to do anything to you guys. He just took his medicine. Don't you do it. Did you shoot him? Did you shoot him? Did you shoot him? He better not be fucking dead. He better not be fucking dead. I know that fucking much.
Holy shit. What the fuck are they got going on in this thing?
Ah!
Cussing at the television.
Right. Maybe you're not allowed to have TV in this room.
Maybe it takes a minute. What are we going to?
WTKR.
And it has a live streaming?
Yes.
News 3's Brendan Ponton is live along
There we go.
the road with more. So, Brendan, how bad is it this time?
Hey, look at it, it's us.
Yeah, I know.
They got our wedding photo up there.
I know, I sent that to them.
You said Officer Stephen Rankin could go to jail tomorrow for killing an unarmed teenager.
The jury recommended 2.5 years. However, the decision will be up to the judge.
Kind of bracing for whatever happens.
Judge Morrison has the opportunity to leave me out on bond pending my appeal, which would mean I'm not in jail.
Police officers don't do well in jail. Somebody's gonna shank him and kill him. See? Crying. Stupid. I love you too.
Court is at 9 o'clock in the morning.
Bracing for whatever happens.
Waiting and wondering what will happen next.
It'd be like somebody taking one of my limbs. He's my partner.
I'm ready, but scared. I am. I'm real scared because just the fact that he can get a bond, like what if he get a bond and he just leave the country or something? You know, like something like that could happen.
Rankin's sentencing has brought together mothers from across the nation to support Chapman and share how their children were also fatally shot.
I'm all right. I was real sick last night.
Did you sleep? That's
Not really.
That's the 3 drinks of that too.
They're sick of it. So they want to come and support and, you know, say a few words and whatnot. And just be there with me. Let me know that I can't stand there by myself. They got me.
At the Portsmouth courthouse, the judge will make a final determination, only able to minimize, not maximize, the sentence.
I'm just gonna just show her beautiful face this morning.
Good morning.
This is Candy. Okay, send her love and support. You can see in her eyes that this is very, very hard, so I'm not gonna keep her on the camera long, just to respect her space. But sweetheart, we're here and we love you. We're not stopping, and I'm just gonna let her, I'm gonna step aside because I can tell she's having a moment. I just want you all to know that
She didn't get quite the amount of time.
Yeah.
Good morning. Thank you very much for showing up.
I want the whole world to see that this man is not above the law just because he was an officer. Anybody that takes somebody's life deserves to be punished. This man really needs to be put away. I have a lot of anger. I'm entitled to that.
Yes, you are.
I'm just sick of it. I'm sick of it, and I'm ready for it to be over. Like it'll be over as far as him getting put away, but it'll never be over for me.
Never.
You know.
Never. Every day.
Never.
Every day.
We just all gotta stick together.
Yes, we do. We all wanted to stop. We're gonna be okay. We're gonna be right here with you. Okay?
I don't ever want to see this courtroom again.
No.
I don't.
At this time, the court will affirm the verdict of the jury will find you guilty of voluntary manslaughter. And having been found guilty, sir, do you have anything you would like to say to the court, or can you think of any reason why a sentence should not be pronounced against you today?
The events of last year changed the lives of many people. I'm deeply sorry for the pain that I've caused the Chapman family. I pray regularly for them, and I pray that they will find peace. I never wanted to hurt anyone, and I wish that I never had. I wish William Chapman was alive today, and I'm sorry that I took him from this world. Miss Chapman, I hope that one day you find peace, and that one day you'll be able to forgive me for what I've done.
Thank you.
That's all I have to say.
At this time, the court will affirm the recommendation of the jury will sentence you to serve 2 years and 6 months in the Virginia State Penitentiary. You have, if you have to do that, you will be excused from this courtroom. All right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
That it? All right.
All right.
Just the beginning. This is new beginning. We ain't get what we want, but we got something.
Hey, that's what it is. Justice has been served.
This name has to be uplifted.
Exactly.
So the multitude
That's right.
will know that this behavior will not be
That's right.
tolerated.
William Chapman! William Chapman! William Chapman! William Chapman! William Chapman!
He read his little words of lies, and then he looks at me, and he's like, I hope that you can find in your heart to forgive me. And I just looked at him and I said, I can't. And I just waved, bye-bye. you piece of shit. I did say that. You know, I couldn't help it. 2.5 years, no, that's not enough. But long as he goes there and get treated like crap, because they don't play up around with stuff like that. In 2 years, that can seem like a lifetime in places like that. You know, they telling you what to do, they telling you what to eat, you know, when to sleep, when to get up. That is gonna be very miserable for that man. And I'm happy about his misery.
My other girls. Lily! This is my place. Our place. A lot of police families fly this one with a blue line through it. The thin blue line represents the police department and the bond that police officers have. And they help me because I don't have Steve. So they keep me going. So for me, the blue line is family. But to most, I'll tell you that it's the line that stands between chaos and peace. So.
My husband is not the man that the media has made him out to be. He's a good guy. And he's a protector. And he'll always be that way. No matter how many times people call him an ex-officer and correct him, he will always be a police officer at heart. Always.
The family of a teen shot and killed by a former Portsmouth police officer may receive $1 million from the city. Earl Lewis says the family had hoped for a $2.5 million settlement, finding that more in line with some other police shooting payouts across the country where officers were not convicted.
Hey, girl. I'm taking a picture. Yeah, I'm taking a picture. She probably took about 10 pictures already. I'm recording.